came off. Then they looking for trouble. Ran right up in the knowledge. Now they back in the huddle. See, they know we can fight. New content every week. Me and Dr. Clyde keep on bringing the heat. Now they know they were driven. And they know we quitting. Yoshi and the winner. Keep on bringing the energy. Unity. See, they know we ain't stopping. And they know they got problems. And they ran out of options. If they know we got a problem, can't let it go unsolved. Bring back learning, Afrocentric history, we see tomorrow. Karma's karma, I say what I say, I hear underwater. Till I see I fall off, then I bring y'all up on note. I'm back up on my Clyde winners. Clyde winners, Clyde winners. Clyde winners, Clyde winners, Clyde winners. Clyde winners, Clyde winners, Clyde winners. Clyde winners, Clyde winners, Clyde winners. Divine winters, Clyde winters, mind benders. Clyde winters, I'm Richard, ride with ya. Master teacher, create masters, Clyde winters. Give respect to the elder, Clyde winters. I feel somebody out there living for me. I told you somebody out there looking for me. I think there's somebody out there looking for me. I think there's somebody out there looking for me.
We have to live on the line. We have to live on the line. I have not done wrong. I have not robbed. I have not stolen. I have not blamed. I have not told lies. I have not stolen food. I was not stolen. I have not fornicated with the fornicator. I have not caused anyone to weep. I have not dissembled. I have not transgressed. I have not discussed secrets. I have brought no lawsuits. I am not wrong. I am not struck kill. I am not transgressed the law. I have not been hunted. Except when I'm talking about Uncle John. I have not made extolling. I have not bragged. I have not cursed. I have not been violent. I have not confounded truth. I have not been impatient. I have not cursed against.
Dr. Winter's legacy is a testament to the power of knowledge and the unyielding spirit of exploration. His impact is felt worldwide, as he shares and enlightens at conferences, symposiums, and collaborative projects. His voice is a beacon in the academic world, challenging, inspiring, and always educating. His journey reminds us that the quest for knowledge is never-ending, and its impact is timeless. Dr. Winters teaches us to challenge the narratives and to learn with an open mind. As he always says, B1 is not a group, it's a lineage. Let his story inspire everybody to pursue knowledge relentlessly and to always seek the truth. Now let us welcome in the grandfather of research, the Trill OG himself, the Honorable Dr. Clyde Winters.
What up? What up, though? What up, though? Hey, what's up, Ancient Black Spirituality? Joan, what up? Thank you, family. Thank you. You got to excuse me. I'm a little hyper today. You know, the weather here is sunny. I went out earlier today. I've been out several times today. I keep standing out there, letting that melanosynthesis, you know, letting the sun just beam down on me, and it's got me hyperactive. Yes, hyperactive. I don't like it. I don't like being hyperactive because the fact is, this is when I get all that energy. When I absorb all that solar energy, it just makes me want to get up and just shout out loud. Melanosynthesis. Yes, yes, yes. What up, though, family? What up, though, family? You know, this is a very exciting day, and what's making it exciting is because the fact is that I'm here with you, the family. I'm going to share with you another Black History gem. Yes, I call it Black History gems because I try to come to you every week because, granted, we would like to believe that history is neutral, but history isn't neutral. No, it is not. No, it is not neutral. You know, the white supremacists, they use history to keep themselves in power. They teach us a history, and sometimes you may see something that appears to show the agency of Black people in some part of the world, but usually, in a sense, it's not really like that. How you doing, Roy Wooster? What up, though? Netherlands. And Ryan Turner. What up, though? You know, and so, but again, in a sense, I really enjoy the fact that I can come to you every week and help to maybe dispel some of the lies that we've been taught. Yes, we've been taught a lot of lies, and these lies, in a sense, cause us not to really understand our true history. You know, Yoshimad the genius, he did a video on the lies that we're taught in history, and now let's look at this video.
Oh, plum disease, my poor little old me. I ain't got time for that shit. I need to get to the promised land.
I'm here to help, trauma stored in the body. My ID me, can you help? They walking around with a head nobody. Created this platform to teach and bring forth master teaching to lift our community and banish all the leechers. We ain't a dot or a nigga. The group never grow. The thinker who thinks the thought, let the masses know. We are the first and maybe the last. One with nature, not a sin against nature. Looking sad. I lost my mom and my dad looking bad, cooking chicken. When it got me a mask because being broke and fit. It's never too late, you part of the greats. Let me rub off on you. Just remember it ain't your fault. I can give you all the time. Nothing is wrong with Black people. Something happened to Black people. Nothing is wrong with Black people. Something happened to Black people. Africana phenomenologist, comedic scientist, digital was creation, metamorphosis, epigenetics, diginomics, first frequency of oneness, FBA, no religion, I'm a vision. Nothing is wrong with Black people. Something happened to Black people. Nothing is wrong with Black people. Something happened to Black people. Africana phenomenologist, comedic scientist, digital was creation, metamorphosis, epigenetics, diginomics, first frequency of oneness, FBA, no religion, I'm a vision.
What does that look like for you? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you tired of complaining about white folks? Are you tired of complaining about black folks?
I am one with first frequency, one with the first thought idea. I am one with the first born people. I am one with the only one. Ashe, and so it is. I am one with first frequency, one with the first thought idea. I am one with the first born people. I am one with the only one. Ashe, and so it is. I am one with first frequency, one with the first born people. I am one with the only one. Ashe, and so it is. I am one with first frequency, one with the first thought idea. I am one with the first born people. I am one with the only one. Ashe, and so it is. Nothing is wrong with Black people. Something happened to Black people. Nothing is wrong with Black people. Something happened to Black people. Africana phenomenologist, comedic scientist, digital was creation, metamorphosis, epigenetics, diginomics, first frequency of oneness, FBA, no religion, I'm a vision. Nothing is wrong with Black people. Something happened to Black people. Nothing is wrong with Black people. Something happened to Black people. Rev Shock. Rev Shock. Rev Shock. Rev Shock.
If you are within 20 years of retirement, Or if you're already retired, all of your hard-earned savings now could be in.
Yeah, again, this is just one of the videos made by Yoshimod. It's kind of an old one, but it's new too. And what he's telling us is that we have to avoid these lies. We have to avoid these lies because much of what we learn in terms of our history is a lie. But I try to come here every week, and I try to, in a sense, share with you new information in a sense that can help you to understand and know that there's more to life than what you've been taught. And I love the fact that Yoshimod has made a lot of, and he's helping us to fight. He's helping us in a sense to run away from these lies. You know, I'm going to start a series on the Meroitic civilization. The Meroitic civilization was a civilization that existed in Africa for an extended period of time. You know, back in 1980, what was it, 83, 84, 1989, I put around 1989, I deciphered the Meroitic script. And after I deciphered the Meroitic script, it allowed me to kind of look and see more factual information about their civilization. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you on a trip, take you on a journey in terms of, in a sense, dealing with the Meroitic. The reasons that I want to, in a sense, go there is because the Meroitic civilization is a civilization that is not too well understood. And one of the reasons that is not too well understood is because of the fact that many people believe that we would know more if we knew or if we could read their language. Well, we can read their language. Again, like I said, I deciphered Meroitic years and years ago. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to just discuss some of these aspects of the Meroitic civilization. And I want to, share this with you so you can kind of see the importance of this civilization, because the Meroitic civilization is a civilization that has left us a lot of important information, And so what we're going to do is we're going to discuss the Meroitic civilization. I'm going to go ahead and get started, so as not to, waste too much time. The Meroitic Empire. You can go to my Patreon to see the slides after I do the presentation. Within the next couple of days, I'm going to send the slides to my Patreon. And I really hope that you will join my Patreon. It's my Patreon that I got this idea to really present this presentation. And it's the Patreon members that allow me to do this weekly show. Yes, my Thursday show I try to keep my Thursday show up to date. I try to, in a sense, get the latest articles and books and everything I can to make sure that I'm presenting information to you that is the latest information, And the way I do that is often I have to, review articles, that are behind a paywall. Sometimes I have to buy new books. And some of these books can be very expensive. And even trying to get articles behind paywalls can be expensive. And I'm able to do this because of the fact of my Patreon followers. My Patreon followers, they provide me with the economic resources to be able to access this information so I can bring you a good video, an up-to-date video, a video that includes and has the latest information on the topics that I'm discussing. Thank you for coming to this. This is my YouTube site. On my YouTube site, I've got almost 400 videos. I've got maybe about 25, 30 shorts, but about 350 are videos that discuss every aspect of Black history. And not only every aspect and every area of Black history. I also have, when you join my Patreon, I also have in there, in a sense, movie guides. And these movie guides, I've organized the movie guides in a way that if you have a subject that you want to study, that lists the movies in that area so that you can easily, in a sense, join my Patreon, get my movie guides, and they will allow you, in a sense, if you have an area that you want to study, I've already, in a sense, made movie guides that can help you to know what films, what videos I've already made, I've already produced that can help you to learn that subject. Join my Patreon. I thank my Patreon because they provide me with the monies and resources to be able to keep these videos up to date. Again, this is my my YouTube site. Here I have hundreds of videos on every aspect of Black history. You know, a lot of people, in a sense, have stole some of my video ideas, and some people are even you know, taken the entire information that I've done in my videos, and then they've converted it into their videos. So you know, but I mean, hey, that's life. I know that knowledge should be spread. You can but please come to my site. Don't just come for my lives, but visit my my YouTube site so you can get the latest information and you can learn about every Black civilization. You can order my books at Amazon.com, Amazon.com. That's where you can order any of my books. Let the researcher do the research. Yes, let the researcher do the researcher. B1, Black first. B1, brilliant first. B1, Black and brilliant first. You know, if you want to do researches, you may want to get my book, Pathfinder, Clyde Winters in Search of the Roots of Afrocentrism, a memoir. In this book, I discuss how I became a researcher and a method that you can use to be a researcher in terms of Afrocentric history yourself. Also, if you really want to do Afrocentric research, get my book, Serious Research. Get my book, Afrocentric Researcher, a guide to social science research methods. I use this in my research class. My research class lasts 15 weeks. And in this research class, I teach you how to do quantitative and qualitative research. And the chapters in this book, in a sense, are outline the course material that I use in my course. So if you want to learn about Afrocentric research methods, get my book, Guide to Study Social Science Research Methods. Get this book. It can help you, in a sense, to know how to establish a research program. And also get my book, Pathfinder, Clyde Winters in Search of the Roots of Afrocentrism, a memoir where I tell you how I became a researcher. And it can also help give you tips on how you can be a great researcher and how you can write good books. You know, I'm so proud of the Prasads. The Prasad girls are they're frequently in the chat JP. And you know what I love about these two young ladies is they've taken some of my research and they've written books on it. Yes, the Prasads have written 2 or 3 books. Black Spirituality, and then the past is not the past. And you know, so they've written several books. Support these sisters too. And again, get these books if you want to do research. Pathfinder, Clyde Winters in Search of the Roots of Afrocentrism, a memoir. And get Afrocentric Researcher, a guide to study social science research methods. You can order these books at Amazon.com. Yes. We're going to talk about the Meroitic writing. The Meroitic writing is a beautiful form of writing. And I as I said, I deciphered the Meroitic script back in the 80s. I published a whole lot of articles on it over time. And they still pretend that you can't read it. Because see, anytime a Black person does anything, until a white man claims that they don't want to give a brother credit, but who cares? But the thing is this: I deciphered Meroitic, and we're going to discuss some of these Meroitic inscriptions. You know, I've written a number of books on the Meroitic writing system, and in it I published some of my decipherments. My book, Meroitic Relations with Tocharian and the Nile Valley Languages. This book is very important. And the reason that Meroitic Relations with Tocharian and Nile Valley Languages is important is because what I do is that I provide the proofs. Yes, I provide the proofs. I provide the receipts that you can read the Meroitic script using my decipherment. I show it to other languages in Africa, you know, Nubian, classical Sudanese, Arabic, and etc. You know, some of my books, in addition to Meroitic Relations with Tocharian and Nile Valley Languages, that is the proof that I've deciphered the Meroitic language. You can also get the, my book, the Language and Literature of the Meroitic. In this book, in a sense, I show how you can read the Meroitic language, the Meroitic Chamber of Philae. In this book, I talk about the inscriptions at Philae. And I discuss the important inscription there, and I decipher it. You can also get my book, Cushite about Akhenaten. Akinadad was one of the prince. His mother, in a sense, was a very important figure in terms of fighting the Romans. So get that book, the Cushite Prince Akhenadad, and also my book. My book, in a sense, a guide to how I decipher many of the various languages. Including not only Meroitic but also the Indus Valley writing, the Olmec writing, and other writing scripts. And this book is very important, and this book, in a sense, can help you to be able to decipher languages yourself. So I get these books. Okay, again, the Meroitic language. You can also get my books, Ancient African History Primer. In this book, I discuss the history of Africa, civilizations. My book, The World History of the Black Race. It's a survey book that discusses every Black civilization around the world. At least it gives you an introduction to these Black civilizations. Nile Valley History and the Rig Veda. In this book, I show that the ancient Indian literature, the Rig Veda, the Puranas, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, all these books, in a sense, they're not really written about, India. They're about the Nile Valley. Get this book so you can see the relationship between the Dravidian people and the people in the Nile Valley, and how, in fact, the Dravidian people of India originally lived in the Nile Valley. And just because they got straight hair does not mean, in a sense, that they're not related to other African people. And in fact, the Tamil language is still spoken. Yes, it's still spoken in Cameroon and Chad. And then you can get my book, The Kushites Who Would Win. In this book, in a sense, I discuss the various Kushite nations. And it's the only book that you're going to find that discuss the Kushites. If you want to know about the Kushites, get my book, The Kushites Who Would Win Where. What is FBA? FBA is not a group. FBA is not an organization. FBA is a lineage. A lineage is lineal descent from an ancestry or pedigree. As a result, we are descendants of the African, Black Europeans, and Aboriginal Blacks who built the United States. Yes. We, foundational Black Americans, we are the Aboriginal people of America. Yes. We've been here and we were here when the Europeans got here. Yes, some people came from Africa, but we are descendants of the Aboriginal people, you see, who created and founded civilization first here in the Americas. B1 is acknowledging your Black African ancestry and mind, not heritage. We must be race men and women proud of our culture and African Black ancestry. B1, what does B1 mean? B1 means Black equal brilliant. B1 is to be Black first. B1 is to be brilliant first. B1 is to be Black and brilliant. It's very important to understand that. A lot of people always say, why do you use this word Black? Well, Black, when you look at the Latin definitions, when you look at, in a sense, the old English definitions, and even when you look at the word Ethiopian, that was also used to refer to Black people in Africa, Black equals brilliant. And why does Black equal brilliant? Because, see, Black is usually, in a sense, associated with coal or embers from a fire. And what do embers from a fire do? Embers from a fire, when you make a fire at night, what does it do? It lights up the surrounding area. So that's what, in a sense, makes Black not only equal brilliant, but also means illumination and things like that. The Meroitic Empire. Yes, let's get into it. I know people have many questions about the Meroitic Empire. People have these questions because, you don't often hear about the Meroitic Empire. They may talk about the 25th dynasty, and they talk about the so-called, Black Egyptians, even though all the Egyptians were Black. But they rarely, in a sense, talk about the Meroitic or the Meroe Empire. The Meroitic Empire is one of several Kushite nations. As you know, the Kushite nations were the nations that were inhabited by the people we call Kush. And these, most of the Kushite nations, in a sense, lived in Upper and Lower Nubia. Last week I talked about the Cushites or the Huks of 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 Lower Egypt, up in the Egyptian in the modern day Delta region of modern day Egypt. But today we're going to talk about the Meroitic civilization. The Meroitic people, in a sense, they are considered Cushites in history, and we're going to get down and really discuss some aspects of their culture and history. The control of knowledge is a priority of white supremacy. Yes, yes, yes. Domination of the university and social science curriculum is a keeper of white supremacy. Yes. To defeat white supremacy, we must dominate the production of knowledge. You see, we have to dominate the production of knowledge. We must be black first. Malifi Akele, Asante, and Antar Diop, these two brothers, these are the people, in a sense, that have taught us much about African history. They've taught us how to look at African history. They've taught us, in a sense, how to interpret African history. And they taught us, in a sense, how to put a particular recognition of African history. But they've said Africa needs no defense. African history only needs advance. It needs us to advance this history. And the way that we can advance this history is to, in a sense, understand that we must be black first, and not only be black first, but also try to find actual truths in relation to black history. Yes, yes, yes. There's been many competent, maybe sincere white authors that have discussed various aspects of black history, but in most cases, in a sense, they never really go to the forefront. Do you know that there's still people who call in a sense, the Cushites black-skinned whites? I repeat, they call the Cushites black-skinned whites. When you can look at the iconography, you can look at the pictures, you can look at the iconography inside the temples, you can look at the statues they made, you can look at the stelas they made, and you can see that these people were in no way Caucasian, and yet they would still call them black-skinned whites. So this is what we have to consider, is that there's many lies that are out there, and we have to go and we have to, in a sense, understand that these lies have to be defeated. They had to be brought out into the light, so that in a sense they can be destroyed, because it's darkness and it's ignorance that keep us misinformed about our history. What's the goal of teaching history? Well, Amos Wilson, in the falsification of African consciousness, he wrote, he said, knowing your history will reinvigorate your mind and spirit. Yes. To Wilson, we should see history as psychohistory, since the aim of writing black people out of history is to destroy any sense of intellectual and social self-esteem for African people. Yes, yes, yes. You know, a lot of people, you guys say, why is Dr. Winters always talking about history? Why, in a sense, does he even bother? Why should I even study history? I want to hear about what's going on in the academic world. I want to hear about Tia Maldry and how she's not getting along with her husband and how she's trying to have a new exciting life. I want to hear about, in a sense, what happened to Cat Williams. What did he say lately about the various stars? What about Megan Good and Jonathan Majors? What about these guys? No. Yes, entertainment information is interesting, it's good, but we also need to know our history, because it's through history, in a sense, that it allows us to have self-esteem and love of ourselves and love of our people. Wilson noted that, and I quote, in the final analysis, European history's principal function is to first separate us from ourselves and separate us from the reality of the world, to separate us from the reality of our history, and to ramifications. Very important, see. They want to separate you from history, because when you know your history, you know where you came from and you know where you can go, see. But if they teach you that you don't really have a history, if they teach you that you've played no role in history, if they teach you that you haven't contributed anything to worldwide civilization, this can hold you back. This will make you feel that there's nothing you can do today, see. But when you understand ancient history, then you understand why today foundational Black Americans are the new Egyptians, because we went through an ethnogenesis. In the Americas, We're the product of the Aboriginal blacks who were the first chattel slaves. They were soon joined by hundreds of thousands of black Irishmen. Yes, black Irish. And I'm not talking about white Irish. I'm talking about the original Irish who were black. These black Irish were sold into chattel slavery, and they were on the plantations with the Aboriginal blacks. That's why you find, in a sense, that many of us can point back to our our Aboriginal ancestors, and these Aboriginal ancestors have names like McCade, Winter, stuff like that. And then finally, in a sense, there was the incorporation of, sub-Saharan African slaves that were brought over here from Africa to the Americas. See, but the point is this, is that the vast majority were Aboriginal. That's why we are, in a sense, descendants of these people. And that's why we need to know our history so we can know where we can go forward. We can know who we are and what we are. What happened to the black people of Sumer? The traveler asked the old man. For ancient records show that the people of Sumer were black. What happened to them? The old man sighed. They lost their history, so they died. Think about that. Yes. They lost their history, so they died. Yes. When you don't know your history, family, when you don't know where you came from, when you don't know your genesis, when you don't know your possibilities, your ability, in a sense, then you lose your sense of who you are. And it's like being dead. It's like being dead. History is written from the perspective of the person writing history. Black history matters. This is why both Eurocentric and so-called liberal historians, white historians, will usually agree that blacks lack any type of history, ancient history, or association with Egyptian history. They agree because both groups do not believe that blacks have an ancient history due to their absorption of what's called consensus history. And consensus history means that's a history that's been agreed upon by white folks. All the white folks came together. They said, this is the history and this is what we're going to teach the world. And no matter what is the truth, we're going to teach this lie. Consensus history deny any role of blacks in ancient history except as Ethiopian or Nubian slaves among the Greeks, Romans, and Egyptians. Thusly, we must control how our children learn. Yes. We have to control how our children learn because, see, you cannot expect non-blacks and blacks suffering from AIDS to accurately teach our children. No, when you suffer from AIDS, you can't help anybody, you see. You can't help anybody. And what happens is this, is that white supremacy is a pandemic. We just went through, in a sense, COVID. And COVID was supposed to be a pandemic. Well, white supremacy is a pandemic also. And a pandemic means that this whole idea of white supremacy is not just in America, but is worldwide. Every country is touched by this whole idea of white supremacy, To have rights does not mean you are free. Remember that, see? Yes, as foundational Black Americans, we have rights, but to have rights does not mean you're free because we're prisoners of war, as Neely Fuller has taught us. Black History Gems is the weekly Black talk to fight the white supremacy pandemic that causes AIDS. Yes, that's why I come to you every week. This is Black History Gems. This white supremacy pandemic has been in existence for the past 200 years in the form of colonialism, Jim Crowism, and apartheid. It is a virulent disease that causes mental illness, resulting from psychological harm, depression, empty self-esteem, and in cases produces a feeling of hopelessness, empty self-esteem, and confusion. Yes. When you don't know who you are, when you don't know what you're capable of, when you don't know how you can really contribute and what you've contributed to world civilization, it can, in a sense, be very disturbing. It can be very harmful. It can be mentally harmful. That's why we have to fight CAIDS, culturally acquired immune identity deficiency syndrome. We have to fight CAIDS. I was born into a racist system of worldwide white supremacy. You see, this presents many contradictions of life living under worldwide white supremacy. A world in which a minority population would control almost my very being. If I didn't know that God, my creator, is Lord of the universe, I would give up. If I did not know that God existed, I would, in a sense, just go somewhere and maybe blow my head off. Yes, I would blow my head off because due to, in a sense, critical race theory, white people hate you. They hate me. White people want to kill you. They want to kill me. White people created a race, this system, a race in which they're meant to win and we lose. And they want me to lose the race too. But because of the fact that God exists, they've not been able to kill us. They've not been able, in a sense, to hold us back totally. They've not been able, in a sense, to keep a race in which we always lose. Sometimes we win, you see. Sometimes we win, you see. We live in a world in which a so-called minority population would control almost my very being. You see? Yes, but we had to fight this. Having said this, I know my life is one of contradictions. Contradictions that remained unexplained until I learned from Nellie Fuller. We are prisoners of war. Yes, yes, yes. We're prisoners of war. You know? We're like a Janus figure. You see? There's two sides to us. Terrible. The European promotion of white supremacy caused my double consciousness, which is a form of mental illness. Yes. Double consciousness is a form of mental illness because, yes, I may talk around in a sense with my friends, relatives, in Ebonics or whatever. But whenever I get around white folks, I feel I have to enunciate the words more clear. I feel I have to sit down and explain everything to them. Because of the fact that I lived through this whole idea of double consciousness, that is a mental illness. Double consciousness is a mental illness. Because you shouldn't have to, in a sense, play one role around your people and another role around them, folks. You see? You know, it's sad. It's sad. Because white supremacy affects my choices subconsciously. You know, it decided who I would recognize as beautiful. When I was growing up, my girlfriend was Marilyn Monroe. How the hell was Marilyn Monroe my girlfriend when I was a kid? But they said she was the prettiest. So, hey, I wanted her to be my girlfriend because she was the most beautiful. That was white supremacy. White supremacy would affect my choices subconsciously. I decided who I would recognize as a symbolic representation of mother. Yes, yes, yes. My mother was on TV. I saw my mother every weekend on the various TV shows that showed the white mother in the home, in the nice home with leading her sons. This is who I saw as a mother. Yes, I had a black mother in my house, but I was being indoctrinated. I was being, in a sense, persuaded through white supremacy that the real mother, the best mother, had to be white. Yes, yes. These choices were made for me through the constant hammering into my mind that whites were supreme via the media's most powerful tools of persuasion. Schools, books, movies, and TV, everything when I was growing up present this whole idea that Europeans were superior. The men, the women, the children, everything was superior to me. That's what white supremacy does. It affects your psyche. To fight AIDS, culturally acquired immune identity deficiency syndrome, you must stay black first. Be one through acceptance of your African ancestry and true knowledge of your history. Yes, yes, yes. You're constantly being bombarded by meteorites, but these meteorites, in a sense, this is white supremacy hitting your brain, hitting your head, trying to tell you you're not worthy. You're not worthy. You're not worthy. You're black. You're poor. You're a minority. You can't accomplish anything. This is what happens to us as a result of AIDS. We're constantly bombarded with this white supremacy each and every moment of the day. The letters CAIDS mean culturally acquired immune identity deficiency syndrome. CAIDS has caused much destruction in the African American community. CAIDS is a psychological equivalent to the AIDS virus. This is an infectious mental illness that causes the individual to lose his or her immunity to white, second frequency, mental domination of their mind, and loss of identity. As noted by Joan Coromante, a member of my Patreon, and also she's a frequent member of the chat. As a proud Black man or woman, due to acceptance of white supremacist tenets, that Black historical and cultural values must be rejected. That's what CADES does. It makes you want to reject your own values in favor of feelings of inferiority, empty self-esteem, and being subservient to Caucasian cultural and historical values that manifest to harm African and Black people generally. Yes, yes, yes. When you don't know who you are, when you're always, in a sense, trying to wait and trying to follow whatever the Europeans tell you, it puts you in a confused state. Because, see, a lot of times, in a sense, what they're teaching you are things that can only bring you down. They're teaching you darkness, and they want to keep you in darkness. They don't want you to see the light. You see? And that's why CADES has caused much destruction in the African community. But we want to find love. We want to find love. We want to find security. We don't want to be. We want to be together with our woman, together with our Black man. We don't want to be like that figure. Look at this figure. We have hands of love. You see that couple moving, but then you see that Black man or that Black woman who's alone, that Black man or that woman who's by themselves, who's all alone. That's what they want you to do. They want you to feel alone. They want you to feel lost. They want you to feel that there's nothing that you can do. There's no way that you can go. There's no way you can overcome. There's no freedom. But we must stick together as Black men, Black women, so we can fight CADES. The aim of knowing your history is to strengthen your cultural awareness and love of Black and African people, so they can have the self-confidence to fight CADES, culturally acquired immune identity deficiency syndrome. Afrocentrism is the ideational code Blacks can use to conceptualize the universe in which they live and interact. Culture can be defined as man's learned accumulated social experience, including man's art, belief, customs, knowledge, law, and morals that are transmitted and shared by a social group, in this case, Foundation of Black Americans. In general, culture refers to a system of learned ideas, not what we do or make. Yes, learned ideas. That's why it's important that our children know our history. That's why it's important that you know our history. That's why it's important in the sense that you don't just succumb to this white supremacy, these white ideas that are constantly bombarding us. See, Black history matters. History situates your place in society. History tells you who you are. History promotes or discourages self-esteem. The FBA that knows their history cultivates self-esteem and is motivated to seek success. They're happy just like this child. They're happy because they know that there's a future. They're happy because they know we have a great past. They're happy because they know that if we work hard, we can make our future so bright, so shiny. The proper study of the Meroitic Empire begins with the end of the Kerma civilization. The ancient Greeks in their literature called the Kushites Ethiopians. This makes it clear that when people were called Ethiopians in the ancient literature, they were talking about Kushites. The empire of Kerma was conquered by the Egyptians. Here is an Egyptian artifact from Buhin. After the fall of the Kermet, the Kushites moved their empire and capital to Meroe. Yes, after the Kermetians lost Egypt to the foreigners, then the Egyptians, in a sense, left Kemet and they moved into Kush. After the fall of Kerma, Egyptians used Buhin as the city from which they ruled over Kush. Here, many Kushite administrators ruled Kush. Here you found Egyptians and Kushites. Here's kind of one of the walls that's left of that great empire. You know, the Kushites, in a sense, were called Kush. Here you can see the Egyptian writing for the Kush. You can see the Kashi, which was a Nubian or Sudanese man, you know, and you can see Kashit, which was a Nubian woman. The reason that we can read, the ancient Kermetian or Medinet is because of the fact, in the sense that this French scholar was able to recognize his name was Champollion. And Champollion What he realized, in a sense, is that, Coptic, which in a sense was spoken in Egypt at the time, he hypothesized that maybe Coptic was, related to the ancient Egyptian language, which we call Metanetra. And he was right. And by people, in a sense, learning Coptic, they were able, in a sense, to decipher Meroitic. They also had, in a sense, the bilingual Greek and Egyptian, artifact that helped them, in a sense, to decipher it. But it was also recognition that Coptic was the language spoken by the original Egyptians, the Comedians. And see, you often need, in a sense, a present day language to help you read, in a sense, sometimes the ancient scripts. I know that they usually teach you that you had to learn a proto language. That's false. That's why you had to get my book, the archaeological decipherment of ancient inscriptions, and I show you how I deciphered ancient inscriptions, and you can do the same. The Cushites were also called Ethiopians. The term Ethiopian comes from two Greek terms, Ethos, burnt, and ops, face. But now we know that Ethiops not only mean burnt, it also means brilliant. It also means illumination. Very important to understand. But we, in a sense, we only use Ethiopian in the context of black faces, when really it can also be interpreted as the illuminated faces, as the brilliant faces. Because Ethos does not just mean burnt, it also means illuminated. It also means bright. It also means, in a sense, shining. Okay, but again, Ethos, burnt, and ops, face. As a result, Ethiopian means the burnt faces. Herodotus and Homer describe these Ethiopians as the most just of men, the favorites of the gods. The classical literature makes it clear that the region from Egypt to India was called by the name Ethiopia. Yes, you can look at this map. And this area from the sea group all the way to India was called, in a sense, Ethiopia in ancient times. Leo Hansberry provides a great discussion of the evidence of African Cushites ruling in Asia and Africa. Some ancient scholars noted that the first rulers of Elam were of Cushite origin. According to Strabo, the first Elamite colony at Susa was founded by Tithonus, a king of Cush. Strabo in Book 15, Chapter 3, 728 wrote that, in fact, it is claimed that Susa was founded by Tithonus, Memnon's father, and his citadel bore the name Memnonium. The Susians are also called the Scythians. Aeschylus calls Memnon's mother Scythia. Yes. The Armenians made it clear that the ancients called Persia, Media, Elam, and Aria, and the entire area between the Tigris and the Indus River, Kush. Bardensines, writing in the Book of the Laws of Countries in the 2nd century, said that the Bactrians, who we called Kushani, or Kushans, the Armenians called the earlier Parthian Kushan, and acknowledged their connection with them. Homer, Herodotus, and the Roman scholar Strabo called southern Persia Ethiopia. The Greeks and Romans called the country east of Kerma Kushan. The most important historical monarchs were the kings of Napata and Meroe. These kings ruled a territory extending from Cushan to West Asia. The first rulers of the Napatan line of kings was Kashta, 700 to 751 BC. This was the Napatian Meroitic period. The Meroitic period extends from 900 BC to AD 400. Although the capitals of Kush changed during this period from Kerma to Napata, there was cultural continuity of Napata Meroitic civilization for over 1,000 years. Kashta invaded Egypt to try and force out the Asians. He ruled the country from Thebes, the capital of Upper Egypt. But it was his son Pianki that the conquest of Egypt was completed. Pianki ruled an empire which extended over almost a quarter of the African continent and parts of West Asia. Rulers became the 25th dynasty of Egypt. Under these rulers, Egypt regained its greatness of culture, but they were unable to regain all of Asia. By 671 BC, Egypt was attacked by the Assyrians, who pushed Pharaoh Taharka from Tanis in the Egyptian delta to Memphis. The empire of Kerma was conquered by the Egyptians. Here is an Egyptian artifact from Buhim. The term Cush is of Cushite origin. It was later used by the Hebrew and classical writers to refer to the people living in the Cushite empire that existed below Egypt and Nubia. The textual evidence makes it obvious that the people of Meroe and the earlier rulers of Kerma and Napata came from the same region, and all of them called themselves Cushites. The people of Upper Nubia and the Sudan were known in Egyptian as Cush or Kushil or Hust or Hasut. The Hebrew people called the Cushites Kus. In the cuneiform inscriptions, the Sudanese were called Kusiya. In the Ethiopian inscriptions of Izana, a king of Axum, the Cushites were called Kashi or Kasu. In Sumerian, the Cushites were called Maluka, equal Kasi, and Kosi, equal Kush. The Meroites identified themselves as Hosh, Kish, Hosh. The textual evidence makes it obvious that the people of Meroe and earlier rulers of Egypt, e.g., for example, the 25th dynasty, came from the same region, and they all called themselves Cushites. The Egyptians called the Meroites Cushites because it was the name they called themselves. The writers of the Old Testament and classical literature designated these people and their country respectively as Cushites and Cush, because it is the name they gave themselves. Laszlo Turok in the Kingdom of Cush, Handbook of the Napadian Meroitic Civilization, noted in a sense, points out that the name for the first ruler of the 25th dynasty, Kashta, probably meant the Cushite. He also noted that Cush also appears as the ancestral kingdom of Pia in its sandstone stela, and King Achaemeni in the 2nd century BC received the mortuary Horus name, the Cushite whose coming into being is. The Assur-Bani-Pal inscription of the First Egyptian War mentions specifically the king of Egypt, who was at the time Taharka, the king of both Egypt and Cush. The inscription on the Rassam cylinder of Assur-Bani-Pal mentions his first Egyptian war, 667 BC. There he specifically identifies Taharka, king of both Egypt and Cush. This is he's identified by the name Kur-Ku-Usi, not Kish, in Mesopotamia. So thus we find Taharka Uta Taharka. Here you can see some of the various things, names in terms of, where we find mention of King Taharka, one of the earliest kings, in a sense, of Kerma. By 669 BC, Taharka, the 25th dynasty of Egypt, was strong enough to push the Assyrians out of Egypt. Native rule of Egypt ended, though, in 663 BC, when Tanwitamani, nephew of Taharka, was driven out of Egypt by the Assyrians, who sacked Memphis and Thebes and brutally murdered many Egyptians. After the defeat of Tanwitamani, the Cushites returned to Napata and ruled just Cush. Here in Napata, the kings ruled an empire from Kalabsha in Nubia to Sennar and Kasti in the south. Meroitic, Mediwe, or Bidewe, Arabic. This is how, in a sense, the Meroe was written in the Egyptian hieroglyphics. The Egyptians called the city Meroe, a group of villages near the city, also called Bagarawiya in Arabic, Bagarawiya. The Meroitic Empire, also known as the Kingdom of Meroe, flourished in the region of Nubia, in the present-day Sudan, from approximately 800 BCE to 350 in the Christian era. This ancient civilization, which succeeded the Kingdom of Cush, is renowned for its distinctive culture, impressive architectural achievements, and complex system of writing. The Meroitic Empire represents a significant chapter in African history, illustrating the rich heritage and advanced societal structures of ancient Nubian civilization. You can look at this map. You can see the location of the Meroitic civilization in Africa, and you can see some of the various Meroitic cities. You can see where Meroe is located. So take a minute to look at that map. This map shows the Meroitic Empire. This is Black History Gems. I'm here to teach our history. Yes, yes, yes. I'm here to teach our history. This is Black History Gems. I am a researcher of Afrocentric history, and you have to understand that real teachers teach. That's why I teach. That's why I come to you every Thursday to bring you these Black History Gems. Yes, yes, yes. Why does the Nile rise and fall in regular seasonal pattern? Hudda knows three theories about this. He quickly rejects the first two, which are A, that the flooding is caused by the Etesian winds and the infusion of water from the river called Ocean are responsible. What we find in a sense is that, it was the Nile in a sense that provided Egypt with the fertile soil. It was the Nile in a sense that provided the Meroites, yes, the people of Meroe, with the fertile soil in a sense that allowed them to grow crops. It allowed them in a sense to build beautiful cities. It allowed them in a sense to be able to even communicate with each other, because often they communicated by boat and they moved from south to north, because see, that's one of the reasons why they call, in a sense, the southern part of Nubia, Upper Kush, whereas the northern part of Kush, from us looking from north to south, was called, in a sense, Lower Kush. By 540 BC, the Kushites moved their capital from Napata to Meroe, which had been a provincial town within the kingdom. Here, Meroe was the major center of ironworking in Africa. From here, caravans took Meroitic goods east and west into Africa and other countries bordering on the Indian Ocean. This is one of the Meroitic tombs they found. This has been one that's been reconstructed. As you can see in the background, a lot of them have, succumbed to the environment, and they've, kind of crumbled down. These are some of the tombs that people were buried in. The Meroites called themselves Kush, but we may never know the exact meaning of Kush. El Taruk and J. Laclan have found in the Meroitic text that Meroites refer to themselves as Kush. Clyde Winters, I noted in the Tanya Damani Stela, the Meroites called themselves Kushites. In the Tanya Damani inscription, we read Koreen. Tanya Damani ne al-i Qazni al-ble perimni. The monarch, the commander, the good and noble Tanya Damani, give this Kushite leave to praise and to supplicate Armani. This is a picture of Tanya Damani on the left-hand side. There are other mentions of Meroe. There's an Ethiopian city of Aswan called Morawi, as also mentioned by Sicilian and geography Astrabo B. Marwa in his book Geography. After the archaeologist Friedrich has reached the sound value of the irrigation letter in 1909, the name of the city was found written on a board that belonged to the king Amani Inti, Urek, 439 BC. Here's the civilization and archaeology of the text, and they refer to the city as Badawi. The Sudanese often refer to Meroe as Meroe. So often, in a sense, if you read any literature by people living in the Sudan, they don't say Meroe, they usually call it Meroe. The origin of the Meroitic Empire closely linked to the kingdom of Kush, which itself had been a dominant force in Nubia after the decline of the Egyptian New Kingdom. The Kushite kings established their rule from Napata near the fourth cataract of the Nile. However, in the 4th century BCE, the capitals moved further south to Meroe. This move marked the beginning of the Meroitic period. The city of Meroe, situated between the 5th and 6th cataracts of the Nile, became the heart of the Meroitic Empire. Its location provided access to crucial trade routes and resources, facilitating the growth of a prosperous and influential civilization. The Meroitic kings, who considered themselves the rightful heirs to the traditions of Kushite pharaohs, established a strong centralized state. The Meroitic Empire is notable for its distinctive cultural identity, which blended indigenous Nubian elements with influences from Egypt and the Mediterranean world. This synthesis is evident in their art, architecture, and religious practices. The Meroites built numerous pyramids which served as royal tombs. These pyramids, though smaller than their Egyptian counterparts, were steeply angled and often adorned with elaborate relics depicting the deceased in the company of gods. The most famous pyramid sites are located at Meroe, Nuri, and Gebel el-Bahar. Meroitic society was hierarchical, with the king or quarry at the top, followed by the nobles, priests, and commoners. The queen mothers, known as Candaces or Candaces, held significant power and often ruled as regents or co-rulers. This matrilineal aspect of Meroitic royalty underscored the prominent role of women in the political and religious life of the empire. Here you can see some of the pyramids in Meroe. You can see some of the ones that have been reconstructed. In the background, you can see some of the tombs that have began to, decline. The economy of the Meroitic Empire was diverse and robust, relying on agriculture, trade, and iron production. The fertile lands along the Nile supported the cultivation of cereals, fruits, and vegetables, while the extensive pastures were used for livestock grazing. Meroe is a major ironworking center, producing tools, weapons, and trade goods. The iron industry contributed to the empire's wealth and facilitated its military prowess. The Meroitic ironworkers were highly skilled, and their products were in demand across Africa and beyond. Trade was a cornerstone of the Meroitic economy. The empire's strategic position enabled it to control trade routes between Central Africa, the Mediterranean, and the Red Sea. Meroitic traders exchanged gold, ivory, ebony, and exotic animals for goods such as glass, olive oil, and wine from the Mediterranean world. The Meroitic kingdom, often referred to as the Kingdom of Meroe, was a powerful and culturally rich civilization that thrived in Nubia, present-day Sudan, from around 800 BC to 350 CE. Central to its history and achievements were the Meroitic kings, who played crucial roles in establishing and maintaining the kingdom's prosperity and influences. These rulers were not only political leaders, but also religious and cultural icons, deeply intertwined with the fabric of Meroitic society. The people of Meroe long had writing, which probably appeared around 4000 BC. They used the Demotic script and hieroglyphic during the period of Kushite period. Yes, the early period, the people of Meroe used the same writing systems as the Egyptians used. Very important to remember. After Egypt went into decline and Egyptians migrated out of Egypt into Meroe, the Meroitic people invented a cursive script which originated in Central Asia. The writing was written in the Kushana language of Central Asia. The Meroitic script uses many Kharosthi signs. The Kushana left Central Asia and helped found the Meroe Empire. Many of the Meroites were probably descendants of the Kushites of Central Asia and India, called Kushana. The Kushana ruled India. They originally lived in the Gansu province of China. They migrated to Central Asia and China. After 175 BC, when their great king was murdered, they migrated to the Sudan. This would explain the statement by Philostratus in the Life of Apollonius of Jerome that the gymnosophists of Kush, who settled near the source of the Nile, descended from the Brahmins of India, having been forced to migrate after the murder of their king. Eustathius also said that the Meroitic Kushites came from India. The word gymnosophist, the gymnosophist, as I'm going to explain in a later video, the gymnosophist was a name that the ancients gave to the Buddhists, the people who followed the Buddhist tradition. There's considerable evidence that the Kushites of Meroe and Indians were intimately related. At the temple of Apidimek at Naka, we see Buddhist influences. Here there are also many elephants depicting Meroitic art. of Musawarat. Here you can see, in a sense, an inscription of footprints. Then you can see epidemic. Then you can see, in a sense, other artifact where we see this relationship that shows a great influence of Buddhism in this area. Kush enjoyed much prosperity until they were conquered by the Exumites in AD 350. After this defeat, Meroe declined as a power. The major god of the Kushites was Amun. The temple of Amun at Jebel Bakr is second to the Egyptian temple at Karnak. Another favorite god was Osiris. You can see the wind is kind of the wind has kind of destroyed this image, but this was an image of Amun. There was at Jebel Bakr. The people of Meroe built beautiful temples and pyramids and sculpture reliefs. The temple consisted of small single-chamber buildings with a colonnade surrounding them. All these structures were built of sun-dried bricks. Here you can see some of the Egyptian pyramids and other artifacts relating to that period. The largest Meroitic urban centers include Sennar on the Blue Nile, Kawa on the White Nile, Wad Ban Naka, Meroe in the Dongola, Napata, and Sanam. The burial place of Meroitic kings shifted from El Kuru to Nuri, 700 to 300 BC, and finally Barka Meroe, 300 BC to AD 400. You can see these places on the map. You can you maybe in a sense want to look and you can see Kerm at the top, then we see Al-Kawa, then Barko, Gebel Barko, Napata, then down in Meroe, and Musarat Es-Sufra. When you look at that map on the right-hand side, you can take a minute to look at the map and see the various locations of the cities of Meroe. Just take a minute or so to look at it. The Meroitic kingdom emerged as a successor state to the earlier kingdom of Kush, which had been a dominant force in the region following the decline of the Egyptian New Kingdom. Around the 4th century BCE, the capital of Kush was moved from Napata to Meroe. The early Meroitic kings inherited the legacy of the Kushite rulers who had once established the 25th dynasty in Egypt or Kemet. These kings saw themselves as the rightful heirs to the pharaonic traditions, and their reigns were characterized by a blend of indigenous Nubian customs and Egyptian influences. The Meroitic rulers continued to use the title of Kore, emphasizing the divine right to rule and their connection to the gods. The Meroitic Empire was a vibrant and powerful kingdom in ancient Nubia. It thrived for approximately 800 BC to 350 BC. Centered around the city of Meroe, the civilization is known for its advanced culture, significant achievements in architecture, and a unique writing system that remains only partially deciphered. Among the notable aspects of this empire were its influential kings whose reigns contributed to the kingdom's legacy. This representation dwells into the lives and accomplishments of some of the most famous Meroitic kings. Arkamani, also named as Ergomenes, ruled during the 3rd century BCE. His reign is marked by a significant shift in power dynamics within the kingdom. According to the Greek historian Diodorus Siculus, Arkamani was the king who defeated the priesthood's control over the monarchy. In an unprecedented move, his death, based on ancient tradition, thereby asserting royal authority over religious institutions. This act not only solidified his power, but also set a precedent for the subsequent rulers, emphasizing the sovereignty of the Meroitic kings. Natikamani, one of the most celebrated kings of the Meroitic Empire, ruled during the early 1st century CE, alongside his queen, Amanituri. His reign is often considered a golden age for Meroe, marked by extensive building projects and military campaigns that expanded the kingdom's influence. Nadikamani and Amanatore are credited with the construction and restoration of numerous temples, including the Amun Temple in Naka and the Epidemic Temple at Meroe. These architectural feats not only demonstrated the kingdom's wealth and power, but also its devotion to the gods. Nadikamani's reign exemplified a period of prosperity and cultural renaissance in the Meroitic Empire. Yes, this beautiful writing. This is what makes Meroe such an important civilization. You see, because it was being able, in a sense, to teach the children the Meroitic writing that allowed, in a sense, these people in Meroe to maintain and expand their civilization. We often, we've been taught over here by Europeans that black people have always wanted to be an oral people. That black people, in a sense, did not really use writing. That's a lie. As I've shown in my lectures over the past 3 years, is that black people have had writing since over 10,000 years. Yes, yes. We've invented numerous scripts. And that's what makes the Meroitic script so important. And that was why when I deciphered it, that it allows us now to really see the importance and intricacy of the Meroitic civilization, the culture, and the history of the people. Amana Shikato, a formidable queen who reigned in the late 1st century BCE, is often included among the famous rulers of Meroe due to her significant impact on the kingdom. Although not a king, her rule is integral to the influence of Meroitic royalty. Amanaka Shah Keto is renowned for her wealth, as evidenced by the treasures found in her kingdom, in her pyramid, which include intricate jewelry and artifacts that showcase the high level of craftsmanship in Meroe. Her reign is also marked by the construction of religious monuments and her strong leadership during the period of external threats, particularly from the Roman Empire. King Tanyamani, who ruled from the mid-2nd century CE, is another notable figure in the history of the Meroitic Empire. His reign is significant for the continued architectural development and consolidation of power within the kingdom. Tanyamani is known for his efforts to fortify the kingdom's defenses and enhance its infrastructure. Inscriptions from his reign highlight his achievements in maintaining stability and promoting economic growth within Meroe. His leadership ensured the continued prosperity of the kingdom during a time of potential internal and external challenges. Amanakabali, reigning in the 3rd century CE, is remembered for his military prowess and efforts to protect Meroe from foreign invasions. His reign was marked by conflicts with neighboring tribes and potential threats from the Roman Empire. Despite these challenges, Amanakabali successfully defended the kingdom's borders and maintained Meroe's independence. His reign is also noted for the continuation of monumental building projects such as the promotion of trade, which contributed to the kingdom's economic stability. The Meroitic kings were astute political leaders who managed to maintain stability and expand their territory through a combination of diplomacy and military prowess. They engaged in alliances and conflicts with neighboring powers, including Egypt, Rome, and later the Aksumite Empire. The Meroitic military was well organized and included a formidable cavalry, which played a crucial role in the kingdom's defense and expansion efforts. One notable king, Nadikamani, who ruled in the 1st century CE, is remembered for his military campaigns and building projects. Nadikamani and his queen Amanatore were responsible for construction of numerous temples and other things. They showcase the prosperity and stability achieved under their strong leadership. Meroitic kings were not only political leaders, but also high priests, deeply involved in the religious life of the kingdom. They were seen as intermediaries between the gods and the people, and their rule was legitimized through religious rituals and ceremonies. The kings built and restored temples dedicated to a pantheon of gods that included both Egyptian deities, such as Amun and Isis, and indigenous Nubian gods such as Epidemic, the lion-headed god of war. The religious significance of the kings is evident in the numerous inscriptions and reliefs found in temples and tombs throughout the kingdom. These inscriptions often depict the king in the presence of the gods, receiving divine blessings and demonstrating piety. The religious role of the king helped to reinforce their authority and provide a sense of unity and continuity within the kingdom. The Meroitic kings oversaw a complex administration that facilitated the king's economic development and trade. They implemented a system of governance that included regional governors and officials who managed various aspects of daily life, from agriculture to trade and tax collection. The kingdom's economy was based on agriculture, iron production, and trade, with Meroe becoming a major center for ironworking. The king fostered trade relationships with neighboring regions and distant civilizations. They exported goods such as gold, ivory, ebony, and iron products, and improved luxury items like glass, olive oil, and wine from the Mediterranean world. This trade network contributed to the kingdom's prosperity and allowed the kings to finance their ambitious building projects and maintain a strong military. The Meroitic religion was a complex system that incorporated Egyptian deities such as Amun and Isis, with indigenous Nubian gods such as Aphrodite. Egyptian and Meroites share many gods. The Meroitic funerary texts are his mention of Amma, Isis, Osiris, and Mesh. Other Meroitic gods include Apidamak and Sebulmaker. Here's a picture on the right-hand side. This is Apidamak, or the so-called lion god of the Meroites. Another important element in Meroitic civilization, which suggests a Kushana influence in ancient Kush, is the helmet and crown styles. Whereas the earlier Kushite rulers wore skull caps, the Meroitic kings wore an elaborate atif crown, which combined the earlier Kushite crown with the common mounted pointed helmet of the Kushana rulers of Central Asia. This, along with affinities between the Kharosthi writing and Meroitic, clearly indicating Egyptian influence in Meroitic Sudan. Okay, you can look here now. You can look here. They have epidemic, and they have epidemic in this particular inscription. You can see that they had epidemic, or the lion guy with 3 heads, 4 arms, and this again, this points to this Buddhist or this Indian influence that we find among the Kushites in Meroitic. But it's very important to understand that many of the people who brought these Buddhist influences back into Nubia, or really stimulated, they were called Kushana, you see. In a later presentation, I'm going to show you where Buddhism originated. I guarantee you, family, you're going to be surprised. Meroitic kings not only were political leaders, but also high priests, you know. Here you can see a relationship between Tanya Damani on the left-hand side and Aphrodite, you know. See. And what was important about this is that the religious significance of the kings is evident in the numerous inscriptions and reliefs found in temples and tombs throughout the kingdom. These inscriptions often depict the king in the presence of the gods, receiving divine blessings and demonstrating piety. The religious role of the king helped to reinforce their authority and provide a sense of unity and continuity within the kingdom. Here you can see Tanya Damani with an epidemic on the right-hand side. Here we can see the stele of Amena Kishikero. Here we can see her in the sense she's surrounded by the gods, you know. And this is from the temple of Amun in Naka. Amena Kishikero stands between Aphrodite and his wife Amisemi. The inscription reads El Kanashita, living Akanashadi, the goddess Amisemi with a falcon on her head. Very interesting inscription. The role of Queen Mother and co-rulers. In Meroitic Kingdom, Queen Mother, known as Candaces or Candaces, held significant power and often ruled as regents or co-rulers alongside the kings. The matrilineal aspect of Meroitic royalty underscored the prominent role of women in the political and religious spheres of the kingdom. The Candaces were involved in decision-making process and played a crucial role in the succession of kings. One of the most famous Candaces, Amenemhotep, who ruled in the late 1st century BCE, is known for her wealth and military acumen. Her tomb, discovered in the 19th century, contained an impressive array of gold jewelry and artifacts, highlighting her status and the kingdom's prosperity during her reign. Very significant period. Queen Amanirenas, one of the most famous candidacies, reigned during the late 1st century BCE. She is best known for her formidable resistance against the Roman Empire. Following the Roman annexation of Egypt in 30 BCE, Amanirenas led her forces into battle against the encroaching Romans. Her bravery is particularly highlighted during the war against Augustus, when she successfully repelled Roman advances and negotiated favorable terms for Meroe. A testament of her leadership and courage is the bronze head of Emperor Augustus, who was taken as a war trophy and buried under the steps of a temple in Meroe, symbolizing her triumph over Rome. Queen Amanirenas. Queen Amenemhotep, who reigned in the late 1st century BC, is another luxurious queen of the Meroitic Empire. She is celebrated not only for her political acumen, but also for her immense wealth and contributions to Meroitic art and culture. Her burial site, Pyramid N6 at Meroe, contained an array of treasures, including elaborate jewelry, and showcased the high craftsmanship of the Meroitic people. Amenemhotep reign is marked by the construction of temples and other religious monuments, underscoring her devotion to the gods and her role as a spiritual leader. Amenemhotep. Queen Amanitore. Queen Amanitore, ruled in the early 1st century CE, is often remembered as one of the most powerful and influential candidacies. She co-reigned with King Natakamani, and their partnership led to a period of prosperity and extensive building projects. Amanitore and Natakamani are credited with the construction and restoration of several temples, including those dedicated to the gods Apidamak and Amun. The Lion Temple at Naka is a significant example of their architectural legacy. Amenemhotep's reign symbolized a golden age for the Meroitic Empire, characterized by cultural renaissance and economic growth. The decline of the Meroitic Empire began in the 3rd century CE, driven by internal strife, economic challenges, and external pressures. The rise of the Aksumite Empire to the east posed a significant threat. By around 350 CE, King Izana of Aksum invaded Meroe, effectively ending the Meroitic rule. Despite its fall, the legacy of the Meroitic Empire endures. Its achievements in architecture, metallurgy, and writing underscore the sophistication of ancient Nubian civilizations. Conclusion: the remnants of the Meroitic pyramid temples and artifacts continue to attract scholars and tourists, highlighting the enduring cultural and historical significance of this ancient African empire. The history of the Meroitic Empire offers a profound insight into the rich tapestry of ancient African civilizations, from its strategic rise and cultural zenith to its eventual decline. The Meroitic Empire exemplifies the complexity and resilience of Nubian society. As an ongoing archaeological discoveries and this remarkable civilization, the Meroitic Empire remains a testament to the enduring legacy of Africa's ancient heritage. Yes, yes. Finally, Meroe is well known to the ancient world. Both the Greeks and Hebrews wrote about the greatness of these people. Kush enjoyed much prosperity until they were conquered by Azanis, the king of Aksum in 350 AD. The Kushites, as other Ethiopians, used irrigation of water their fields. They also built tanks and reservoirs, often hollowed out of solid rock to store their water for crops or to drink. The Kushites, according to Diodorus, under leadership of Osiris, established colonies in Europe and Asia as far as India. The Kushites early traded with Sumer-Akkad. Again, in a sense, the slides, I'm going to put them in my Patreon sometime over the next 2 days. So go to my Patreon to see the slides and join my Patreon. Again, I got this idea, and many of the ideas that I for my presentation come from people who are members of my Patreon. Please join my Patreon, support me, help me to be able to do this research and bring you the latest research on African civilizations, not just today, but next week and the week after. This is made possible by the members of my Patreon. Please join my Patreon. It's only $5 a month. That's less than the buying a coffee. You know, I mean, most coffees cost at Starbucks. Most coffees begin around $7, $8. You know, and if you drink a coffee every day, you can definitely, in a sense, you know, support me by just paying $5 a month, only $5 a month for my Patreon. You can check out other videos that I made here on Clyde Winner's YouTube sites. Here I have over almost 400 videos. It's just about 400 videos overall, but I have at least 350 videos that deal with every aspect of the history of Black people in Africa, Asia, all those places, you know. So visit my YouTube channel where you're at right now. Come back, not just in the sense to see my lives every Thursday, but, you know, come and check out some of the other videos. And if you join my Patreon, I've got guides that can help you to be able to set up, you know, your own study guide to be able, in a sense, to use my films to learn about various aspects of the history of Black people throughout the world. You can order my books at Amazon.com. Please support my books. Let the researcher do the research. Yes, yes, yes. You are a private eye. Let the researcher do the research. Be one Black first. If you want to do research, get my book, Pathfinder, Clyde Winters in Search of the Roots of Afrocentrism, a memoir. Here I talk about how I became an Afrocentric researcher. You have to understand that I couldn't go and learn how to do Afrocentric research when I went to university because they didn't have a class. They still don't teach any Afrocentric history. So you have to, and so this book tells you how I became an Afrocentric researcher. It can help you to see the ins and outs of researching Afrocentric history and can help you to become a very good researcher. In terms of just understanding aspects of quantitative and qualitative Afrocentric research or quantitative and qualitative research, period, get my book, Afrocentric Researcher, a guide to the study of social science research methods. In this book, I explain to you how to do quantitative and qualitative research. But I base these chapters and lessons using, in a sense, examples from the study of Afrocentric history, linguistics, anthropology, and genetics. Again, I decided Meroitic language years ago. I've written many books that deal with the Meroitic language. Get my book, you know, in a sense, the history and literature of the Meroitic people. Get my book, The Meroitic Chamber of Philae. Get my book, The Kushite Prince Akhenaten, and get my book, a guide to archaeological decipherment, where I discuss how you can decipher Meroitic, the various languages and the various languages that I've deciphered over the years. Get my book, Meroitic Relation with Tocharian and Nile Valley Languages. This book is very important because it's in Meroitic relations with Tocharian and the Nile Valley language where I lay out the proof that I've deciphered the Meroitic writing system and its relationship to other languages in the Nile Valley and Africa in general. Get this book, Meroitic Relations with Tocharian and the Nile Valley Languages, and it'll explain to you why, you know, my decipherment of Meroitic is supported by linguistic and anthropological evidences. You know, thank you. Okay, Black Spirituality, Dr. Winters, thank you for these Black History Gems. It really inspires me, and I learned so much from you. We must support real scholars and not just entertainers. That's very true. Thank you for that support. And Sister Shanice, rise up, Dr. Charles. Another very informative presentation, leaving the audience wanting to soak up the knowledge and learn more. Yes, yes, yes. Sister Shanice, it's thank you for joining us. Me and Sister Shanice, we're going to be teaching the third part of our Black History British Black History series. We're going to begin that September 9th. Go to Sister Shanice at Gumroad so you can sign up for our upcoming class. It's going to be part 3. Ryan Turner says 1990s movie called The Island of Moreau starring Marlon Brando that depicted the Meroitic people as animals. Yeah, but remember, in a sense, everybody's supposed to have been turned into an animal. Thanks. I had to check that out. Jones said, thank you once again, dear Baba. B1. B1, baby, B1. And again, Sister Janice says, rise up, Dr. Winters. Another informative presentation. Enough love. Thank you, Sister Shanice. Again, in a sense, I hope you will join us for our upcoming third series on Black British history. And you can go to go to Gumroad, Sister Shanice at Gumroad, and you can sign up for the course. This will be our third presentation in this regards. Also, the Praside's, Jada Prasad's written a very interesting book, Black Spirituality. Check it out.
The landed paths of ancient law, metaphysical keys to unlock the door. A book written by Jada Prasad with the guided visions of Yoshino. Ancient Black spirituality, galactic celestial symphony, cosmic melanated energy, spirits are within me, our history. Ancient Black spirituality, galactic celestial symphony, cosmic melanated energy, spirits are within me, our history.
It's a very informative and it's a wonderful book. So I support her.
So dreamy.
Hey, I've just written a new book, History and Culture of the Black Aboriginals of America. Yes, I've written a new book. This book is called History and Culture of Afro-Americans. It's about the Aboriginal Americans. It's about the first people who inhabited America. Many people don't know about our great culture, this super culture that we created, but I discussed this book. In 489 pages, you'll find out so much information, great information, about, in a sense, what the Aboriginal foundational Black Americans did. You're going to see, in a sense, that Black people contributed much here. When the first Europeans got here, that's what they found. Yes, they found Black Aboriginals inhabiting the Americas. It was the Black Aboriginals that built this country. This is why you had to get my book, History and Culture of the Aboriginal Blacks of the Americas. In this book, you will find out the truth. You will know what we created. You will know who we are. Get this book. Buy it now. Today is today. We need to homeschool our children due to white supremacy. In many states, education departments are passing laws to deny our children from learning the history of foundational Black Americans. Today, you can learn how to organize and teach your children in a homeschool. In my book, A Guide to Homeschool Foundational Black Americans. You can use my book, History of Blacks in America from Prehistory to 1877, to teach our children their history here in the United States. You can use my book to teach world history. And this book I've written is called The World History of the Black World. This will teach your children about every Black civilization in the world. Get this book. The time is now. Get these books to teach your children about their greatness, to prevent them from losing confidence in their own ability to learn and be successful future adults in employment and education. Very important. Be supportive, and also I hope that you will, try to support Yoshimod. Yoshimod's a great supporter. He's a great man in terms of what he shares to the community. Please support Yoshimod and his productions. I've already shown one of his videos. Please support this brother. You know, it's very important in a sense. I hope that that you'll be supportive of some of these projects, because they are so informative. And what makes these things so informative is, in a sense, the fact that 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 we need this information, and this information is good. It's very good, and it's very informative in a sense, And I hope that you'll maybe join us again. Like I said, is that we're going to be doing our we're back, and we're going to be doing our history program. Me and our sister Shanice, we're going to be teaching our Black history program. So I would appreciate it very much if you would kind of join us. This is our third go round. And what makes this a very important thing is because, see, we need to do a lot more research in Black history, because, see, this is an area that many people don't really know about, And so I'm hoping, in a sense, that you guys will join us, in our join us, because it's interesting. Again, this course is it's called When Britain Was Black, and hopefully in a sense you will join us. And this is When Britain Was Black. Is Black British Romans, Black Emperors, Moors, Castles, Black Royalty. The class is going to be every Monday beginning September 9th. It's going to begin every Monday, September the 9th. Is going to be from 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Okay. I want you to understand that this is London time. This is over in Britain. The class is going to be from 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. That's British time. Central Standard Time is 1:30 p.m. So if you want to take this When Britain Was Black class, I hope in a sense that you will understand that it'll be every Monday beginning the 9th of September. And we're going to be doing a lot of interesting work. And this is the third part of our Black history class. We're going to talk about the Black British Romans, the Black Emperors, the Moors, the castles they built, the Black royalty. So join us for this class. It's the new Black British History course online. It's going to be every Monday beginning September 9th from 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. You see, you can go, in a sense, to Sister Shanice, Gumroad, and sign up for the class. If you want to sign up for the class, go to Sister Shanice at Gumroad, and you can join the class. And you're going to get a lot out of it, so you're going to enjoy the class. So hopefully you will join the class. And often when we do this class, a lot of times we begin at 1:30 in the afternoon. CST, that's American time, Central Standard Time, 1:30. And again, that's 7:30. But you know, we begin this class at 7:30 in London time. And you know, we'll be on that class. We be in that class sometime up to 10 p.m. because we not only, after we present the class, we discuss some of the material, and a lot of people really enjoy participating in the class, you know. And so then, you know, if you do have the time, join up for the class, you know, join up for the class, become a member of the class. It's 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. That's British time. It'll be 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So join the When Britain Was Black class. You're going to enjoy it, I can tell you now. You know, if you know, again, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask right now, I got a time right now so I can answer them. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat, and I'll try to see what I can do. Thank you, Ancient Spirituality. Thank you for your support every week. And Kind One C, oh yes, love, blessings. Thank you. Well, if there's no questions, I want to thank you guys for joining us this week. Remember, if you got any comments about the show, you know, give us a comment. If you got further questions, put them in the comments, and I will in a sense answer these questions. Again, support Yoshimod and Productions, and again, in a sense, you know, thank you for coming. And if you don't want to speak up, support the ones who do.
If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, support the ones who do. Vampires, they prey on your fears and stay away. Vampires, they prey on your fears, control your atmosphere. Don't let them take your energy. What I say. Don't let them suck you. Control